Well, welcome back to True News. I'm Rick Wiles. You're listening to True News, the alternative news network. In November 2008, a bloodless Bolshevik revolution took place in the USA. A radical Marxist revolutionary, whose real name is Barry Soetoro, was elected President of the United States of America. His true identity, however, has been concealed from the American public. His birth certificate is sealed. His college records are sealed. His passport is sealed. Obama is a man without a past. My guest today, however, personally knows something about Barry Soetoro's past. He met him years ago and personally talked with Obama about a future Marxist revolution someday in America. But before I introduce him, I want to read to you an article published today by Reuters News Service. The headline, Obama rejects criticism of his agenda as socialism. Just think about the headline. Did you ever think you would be alive to see a headline in America where the President of the United States has to deny that he's a socialist? This is what Reuters said today. President Barack Obama launched a vigorous defense of his economic agenda on Wednesday, rejecting critics who call his policies socialism and insisting he aims to boost U.S. competitiveness abroad. Speaking to the Business Roundtable, Obama called for support of his efforts to overhaul financial regulation. Obama said, quote, contrary to the claims of some of my critics, I am an ardent believer in the free market. Obama said his efforts to enact sweeping legislation to overhaul financial regulations and to set caps on carbon emissions to fight climate change were not aimed at hurting business. Obama said, we have arrived at a juncture in our politics where reasonable efforts to update our regulations or make basic investments in our future are all too often greeted with cries of government takeover or even socialism. Well, is Obama an ardent believer in the free market, as he said today? Dr. John Drew of California, a political scientist, says that the Obama he knew in college in 1980 was a committed Marxist revolutionary. Dr. Drew graduated from Occidental College in 1979, and while attending Cornell University, he returned to Occidental during a Christmas break in 1980. During the visit, he personally met Barack Hussein Obama. Dr. Drew, welcome to True News.
Oh, Rick, it's an honor to be here and to get this story out. I appreciate it.
All right. Now, did I get this correct about your college days?
Yeah, I was a radical student leader at Occidental College between 1976 and 1979. I was actually one of the people that founded the anti-apartheid group that Barack Obama talks about in Dreams of My Father. So I was part of a sort of rich network of Marxist, socialist, structural feminist, Marxist professors that Barack Obama talks about in Dreams of My Father.
Were you always a leftist before you went to college, or did you become a lefty after you started going to college?
Well, you know, I'm ashamed of my leftist past, which I just am. I'm ashamed of it. But I can tell you that I did not become a leftist until 1976. So I grew up in a normal Republican Goldwater household my whole life in Southern California. I became radicalized about 1976 and convinced of Marxism at that point. I even studied Marxist economics during a year abroad at the University of Sussex in England, and came back to Occidental College and wrote my senior thesis on Marxist economics. So, I was definitely a leader of the Marxist socialist subculture.
And were you getting a lot of Marxist education in college?
Yes, yeah. I knew the left-wing professors, people like Carlos Egan. I knew Roger Boucher, who Barack Obama refers to as his intellectual mentor. So I know all the people that Barack Obama is talking about when he writes about that kind of Marxist socialist intellectual environment that was at Occidental College. But what had happened is I had graduated in 1979, and then I was at Cornell University studying politics, and I flew back home during the Christmas break, and that's when I met young Barack Obama in the fall of 1980. It was over the Christmas break, and my girlfriend at the time basically told me that Barack Obama, or Barry, as they called him.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, was his name Barack Obama or Barry Soetoro?
Well, he introduced him. He was introduced to me as Barack, but then he said it was okay for me to call him Barry because that was obviously easier for me to pronounce and understand. I also met at the same time his friend Hassan Shandu, and so everybody just referred to Hassan as Hassan. His name's actually Mohammed Hassan Shandu. He's a wealthy Pakistani Muslim, and he was obviously Barack Obama's closest and dearest friend.
So his best buddy in college was a radical Pakistani Muslim.
That was my sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
where did Shandu, where did he go after college? What do we know about him?
Shandu graduated. I met Barack Obama in a second time in the spring of 1981. There was a big party at the house he and Shandu shared in Eagle Rock, California. And Shandu graduated in 1981 and then moved to New York, where he's now, I think he's like a financial consultant investor out there. But he's always been a lifelong friend of Obama. He was at Obama's wedding. He was at the White House, I think, just 2 months ago for a Ramadan dinner, and he's a big, $100,000 plus financial bundler for the Obama campaign.
Did you have any sense of Barry Soetoro's religious leanings at that time? Did he indicate any leaning towards any particular religion?
Well, this is complex because I just want to be very truthful that when I met Barack Obama and Hassan, I thought they were atheists. I thought they were mainly Marxist socialists in their ideology and bearing. So I saw them as secular, and they were both smoking and drinking at the time. And I didn't know so much about Islam and its prohibitions against smoking and drinking. Although I understand, there's Pakistani...
So Shandu, he was a backslidden Muslim.
And I found out about the Muslim connection, only later. All I can truthfully report is they were definitely not Christian, and that the primary sense I got about them was that they were profoundly committed to Marxist ideology.
What made you think that they were profoundly committed to Marxism?
Well, part of it was the context of Caroline telling me that Barack Obama was quote one of us, and that meant that he was part of this revolutionary subculture that we were all active in at the time. So that was a big deal.